ਦਿਲ ਮੇਰਾ ਪਾਉਂਦਾ ਬੋਲੀਆਂ ਤੇਰੇ ਨੱਚਣ ਕੰਨਾਂ ਦੀਆਂ ਡੰਡੀਆਂ, ਤੇਰੇ ਨੱਚਣ ਕੰਨਾਂ ਦੀਆਂ ਡੰਡੀਆਂ। ਨੀ ਦਿਲ ਮੇਰਾ ਪਾਉਂਦਾ ਬੋਲੀਆਂ ਤੇਰੇ ਨੱਚਣ ਕੰਨਾਂ ਦੀਆਂ ਡੰਡੀਆਂ। ਤੂੰ ਅੱਖਾਂ ਨਾਲ ਗੱਡ ਦਿੱਤੀਆਂ, ਤੂੰ ਅੱਖਾਂ ਨਾਲ ਗੱਡ ਦਿੱਤੀਆਂ। ਸਾਡੀ ਜੋੜੀ ਪਰਵਾਨ ਹੋ ਗਈ ਅੱਜ ਮੈਂ ਸੱਕੀ ਨਾ ਪਰਾਂਦਾ ਕੁੜੀਏ। ਕੋਕਾ 4-5 ਰੰਗਾਂ ਵਾਲਾ ਨੀ ਮੈਂ 1.25 ਲੱਖ ਦਾ ਲਿਆਂਦਾ ਕੁੜੀਏ। ਨੀ ਇੱਕ ਤੇਰੀ ਵੰਗ ਵਾਸਤੇ, ਇੱਕ ਤੇਰੀ ਵੰਗ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਮੈਂ ਤਾਂ ਸਾਰੀਆਂ ਫਰੋਲਤੀਆਂ ਮੰਡੀਆਂ। ਨੀ ਦਿਲ ਮੇਰਾ ਪਾਉਂਦਾ ਬੋਲੀਆਂ, ਦਿਲ ਮੇਰਾ ਪਾਉਂਦਾ ਬੋਲੀਆਂ ਤੇਰੇ ਨੱਚਣ ਕੰਨਾਂ ਦੀਆਂ ਡੰਡੀਆਂ। ਤੂੰ ਅੱਖਾਂ ਨਾਲ ਗੱਡ ਦਿੱਤੀਆਂ ਤੂੰ ਮੇਰੀ ਹੱਕ ਦੇ ਵਿਚਾਲੇ ਝੰਡੀਆਂ।
ਓ ਜੱਟਾਂ ਦੇ ਮੁੰਡੇ ਨਾ ਜੇ ਤੂੰ ਲਾਲੀ ਬੱਲੀਏ, ਇੱਕ ਗੱਲ ਦਿਲ 'ਚ ਬਿਠਾ ਲਈ ਬੱਲੀਏ, ਬੱਲੀਏ। ਓ ਜੱਟਾਂ ਦੇ ਮੁੰਡੇ ਨਾ ਜੇ ਤੂੰ ਲਾਲੀ ਬੱਲੀਏ, ਇੱਕ ਗੱਲ ਦਿਲ 'ਚ ਬਿਠਾ ਲਈ ਬੱਲੀਏ। ਕੋਈ ਚੀਜ਼ਾਂ ਮੁੰਡਾ ਬਸ ਫੋਲੋ ਕਰਦਾ, ਓ ਯਾਰਾਂ ਵੇਲੀਆਂ ਦੇ ਬਿਨਾਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਉਹ ਸਰਦਾ। ਵੀਰਵਾਰ ਦਿਨ ਨਾ ਪਰਹੇਜ ਕਰਦਾ, ਯਾਰਾਂ ਵੇਲੀਆਂ ਦੇ ਬਿਨਾਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਉਹ ਸਰਦਾ। ਵੀਰਵਾਰ ਦਿਨ ਨਾ ਪਰਹੇਜ ਕਰਦਾ। ਹਾਏ ਵੇ ਰੰਗ ਸਾਵਲਾ, ਸਾਵਲਾ
Please rise for the color guard presentation.
Color guard, attention. Color guard, forward march. Color guard, present the colors. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Color guard, post the colors. Color guard, reform rank. Color guard, dismissed.
This land is my land, from California welcome to the 18th Annual Ecumenical Thanksgiving Celebration. I'm Hal Schlanger with Temple Kol Emeth, and I serve as the chairperson of the Planning Committee, and thankful for all of those whose names you'll see listed on the digital program, which you can download with the QR code, which we've previously distributed. A couple of quick announcements. Bathrooms are located at the far side of the lobby, opposite of the doors you came in on. After the celebration concludes, please stay for the reception for a nosh and a kibitz, or to learn what a nosh is and how to kibitz. This year's theme, Finding Common Ground. Instead of canceling people, unfriending them on Facebook, or not inviting them to a holiday party, tonight you'll hear about having a respectful conversation, because chances are we're not actually that far apart. It may seem uncomfortable at first, but alternatives of continuing as is will result in having a severe case of ostrich-itis. While asking you to silence your phones, please leave them on so that you hear something, you can post it on Facebook or Instagram, and there are hashtags on the digital program. Or you can be old school and leave a note on the wall in the back in the social hall during our reception. Thank you so much for being here and making our community a better place.
Hal, thank you for your leadership. Hal Schlanger, everyone, who has really been the guide along with our committee. Hal, thank you so much for bringing us all together. And truth be told, if you are interested in learning how to nosh and kibitz, nosh is good. Kibitz, Hal will teach you how to kibitz and kibitz and kibitz and kibitz. Thank you, Hal. One note this evening, our program can be found in a QR code on half sheets that have been distributed today. So if you want to follow along in the program, feel free to scan that QR code. If you don't have one, just raise your hand. Somebody eventually will come around and help you out with that. I am Rabbi Larry Cernovitz. I'm the senior rabbi here at Temple Kol Emeth, along with my co-host, Reverend Avril Loy Maynard from Unity North Atlanta. On behalf of our Rabbi Emeritus, Rabbi Steve Lebo, founder of this service, and Jody Roberts, president of our congregation, it's my honor to welcome you to our annual ecumenical service here at Temple Kol Emeth. It was founded to unite our community. No matter what's going on out there in the world, we can still come together to be united and to celebrate the richness and diversity of humanity and our faith traditions. When we gather together, anything is truly possible. Not only is this Temple Kol Emeth's 40th anniversary year here in Cobb County, but it is, as Hal said, the 18th anniversary of our ecumenical service. 18, the number 18 is chai in Judaism, commonly mistranslated or said as chai. It is not a tea. As every Hebrew letter has a numerical value. Chai is made up of two Hebrew letters, the letter chet, which is the 8th letter, and the letter yud, the 10th letter, equaling, for those mathematicians out there, 10 plus 8 is, come on, you all know this. Hal is not going to teach mathematics afterwards. 10 plus 8 is?
18.
There we go. 18, those letters come together meaning chai. Chai means life in Hebrew. Instead of cheers in Judaism, we say l'chaim, to life, to continued health and goodness. And it's interesting, Avril, I find it beshert, meant to be, that in our 18th year of joining together, celebrating the strength of our diversity in community, our world is struggling to recognize the humanity and the sanctity of each human chai, of each human life. Therefore, the Ecumenical Service Committee, representing all of our congregations, which are now over 22 different congregations coming together, chose the theme of our service to be common ground. It is our shared humanity that brings us together. What we do with it depends on each of us. If only we could walk a single day, as cliche as it sounds, a single day in each other's shoes, we would have a deeper understanding of this shared common humanity. Averill, as co-hosts, you and I, we stand here together, not only as friends, but as a man who is a Jewish rabbi and a black woman who is an interfaith minister. In a community organizing training many years ago, Averill, as you know, I learned, and you know this word too.
Yes, I do.
We learned a word, not just shalom, which refers to inner peace. And in Hebrew, when you greet someone, you say, how is their shalom? How is their peace, their inner peace? But there's also a beautiful word in the Zulu tradition, which is sawubona. I see you, and therefore I have an obligation to you. And sikhona, which means I am here to be seen. And Averill, as we stand here tonight, shalom and sawubona.
Sawubona and sikhona.
I see you, and I'm honored to share the bima with you this evening.
Thank you. I'm honored as well. To understand my experience, you must entertain the idea that Black people are not a monolithic entity. No ethnic, racial, or religious group has a hive mind. Just like everyone else, I'm a product of my experiences. The next step in getting closer is acknowledging our biases. We all see the world through a limited lens. In Sanskrit, this constraint is called klesha, which means coloring, or that which occludes. We can endeavor into uncomfortable conversations by keeping this in mind and committing to respect. I am an interfaith minister, and my path includes Buddhism, unity, and traditional yoga philosophy. These three paths emphasize the oneness of humanity and the importance of compassion. We can all benefit from being open to the possibility of worshiping, living, and loving in many different ways.
And that is how we begin this evening, as we see one another tonight and hear from our beautiful richness of our faith traditions. And with that, it's our honor to call forward, as we begin our call to prayer, we call Hassan Faye, who will be reciting the Islamic call to prayer this evening. The words can be found in your program as well.
We ask that you please do not applaud at the conclusion of the call to prayer.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله. Thank you.
Just hearing the Muslim call to prayer and seeing the translation in the program this evening, we're aware of what these beautiful Arabic words mean and what it instructs Muslims to do in this moment. If we don't speak Arabic and we didn't have a translation, we wouldn't have known what it means or understood a little bit of Muslim tradition. Language, the language we use, and its translation for different faith traditions and cultures can have indeed a powerful impact on each of us, providing meaning and understanding. For the Jewish community, this reminds me of the way that we look at the Hebrew prayer and text. If there is a rabbinic concept that connects, it's one called Pardes, which is an acronym and helps us actually to understand the deeper meanings of our faith tradition. Pardes stands for 4 Hebrew words. It's an acronym. Pshat, which is the simple meaning of the text, of what we may hear, followed by Remez. And Remez is a hint at a deeper meaning, followed by a drash, an interpretation. And as we know in Jewish tradition, we say that when there are 2 Jews, there are 3 opinions. So everyone has a different interpretation. And followed by the sod, the secret meaning. If you go deep enough, if you open your soul to learning and allow to receive what God has to teach. Avril, it also reminds me of something similar that you use from Buddhist philosophy.
Yes, it does. In the Buddhist tradition, right speech, which in Pali, the language that the Buddhist texts are written in, is called samavaka, which is also called wise speech or virtuous speech. It's a foundational tenet of the Eightfold Path. This way of communicating can create peace and happiness in oneself and others. The Buddha encouraged his devotees to speak the truth, promote harmony, and use a gentle tone. I have to work on that one a little bit more. This endeavor requires mindfulness, so speech is thoughtful and purposeful. And this principle is utterly relevant tonight as we have numerous perspectives, yet we strive to know each other more deeply. However, right speech is only one side of the coin. I encourage you all to encourage in right listening. If you're open, imagine your whole body, especially your heart, as an ear. So listen from your heart's ear to the heart of the presenter tonight and meet them on a field beyond words. With that, I would like to call up at this time Reverend Raymond Cadron from St. Anne's Catholic Church and Reverend Trey Phillips, I butchered that with terribly not right speech, from St. Catherine's Episcopal Church. And again, I apologize.
Good evening. The one thing I don't hold in common with my sisters and brothers behind me is the fact that they're happy that I got the short straw. Sisters and brothers, as I reflected on the focus for tonight, I asked myself first what I think common ground is not. And I believe it is not just looking for and acknowledging together certain beliefs and ideas and opinions about certain aspects or areas or concerns of life that we can agree upon as a diverse human community. It is not simply an exercise of our minds. But finding common ground is, I believe, a work of the heart. It is fundamentally a journey we take to a life-giving, life-promoting encounter with all those with whom we believe we share a deep and sacred care and prophetic concern for our common home, this earth, and the whole human community that we believe we are given together as a divine gift for wise and responsible stewardship. On this life-protecting and enhancing journey, we are called, I believe, to be committed together to acting justly, to seeking out creative, unifying, and constructive dialogue, to loving tenderly all God's people and creation, especially its most vulnerable, with compassion, respect, and courage, and to walking humbly with God and our fellow journeyers, the prophetic, healing, and reconciling ways that can lead us to the fullness of God's reign, which can begin here and now. This is what I think it means to engage in the wonderful work of finding common ground. And it is with this heart's work in mind that our community at St. Anne's has, for the last 30 or more years, sought out consciously to live our common ground ways with our common home sisters and brothers of the many ecumenical and interfaith communities we share this sacred area of God's gift with. We have shared in an ecumenical covenant church's experience, uniting in prayer, action, learning, and community building over the years, which I hope will once again be rekindled, and we actively engage now in wonderful, creative, and mutually enriching conversations and activities with our Jewish and Muslim sisters and brothers. This, for us, and I hope for them, has been a delight. It is my hope that we continue to build on these sacred encounters and remain committed to enrich each other in our living out our mutual care, in discovering our connections across our rich spiritual diversity, and sharing our responsibilities for finding the common ground that brings healing and truly imagines into being a shared, hope-filled future for this, our sacred common home.
Thank you, Father Ray, for those words. I greet you on behalf of St. Catherine's Episcopal Church. And when I think about our theme of finding common ground, I think about a couple of weeks ago where some of our youth came here to Temple Kol Emeth. And we came as part of this multi-faith youth collaboration that is beginning to build and expand in Marietta, to gather our youth of diverse faiths, to push against some of the prejudices that arise, and to build bonds and connections. My young people, shout out to you. Where are you at? Yes. What a gift to model this work for them. And, yes, not only to model, but to do this work alongside of them. I'm so glad you are here. But we came here to learn about the fall festival, Sukkot. That Jewish fall festival that gives thanks for the year's harvest. And we learned about sukkahs, these temporary dwellings built during the holiday. Now, Rabbi Larry helped me out with this as well. We witnessed how to shake the lulav and the etrog. Oh, and I'll be honest, Rabbi Larry, I'll be honest. My first question was, wow, where do you get your lemons? Pristine, pristine. But after learning about the festival, we heard the important reminder of the blessing and the fragility of human life. That we are all creatures of this earth, dependent upon the fruit of the land, dependent on those who grew the fruit of the land, and ultimately dependent upon God, the source of our life. Friends, this evening's gathering, it demonstrates for us our resilience over these past couple of years. But perhaps we can also be honest with ourselves to acknowledge how these past few years confronted us more than ever with our shared human fragility. As my tradition tells me, we were formed from the dust, and to dust you shall return. Dust to dust. We may call ourselves dustlings. In the pursuit of finding common ground, there may be some wisdom in recognizing that we all come from a common ground. There might be some wisdom in recognizing that we are all God's beloved creatures. And to call this planet home is to acknowledge that we are all nourished and sustained by one another and the ground from which we came. So, my fellow dustlings, let us find common ground in our shared humility of being human, of being dependent upon one another, to embrace that, to name our need. Let us be courageous in naming both the beauty and the fragility of life. Let us cling to one another. Cling to one another and acknowledge our dust. And let us seek God who planted us here on this ground that we call Marietta. Amen.
Thank you for those words. And as we introduce our choir and our soloist, once again, we appreciate us all being dustlings together. If there is extra dust, Paul Wilson he's our keeper of the dust. So just let Paul know, and he's happy to take care of the excess. So our choir this evening, conducted by Kathy Creasy-Middleman and the pianist Bruce King from Emerson Unitarian Universalist Congregation, and Lois Miller from St. Thomas the Apostle, is our soloist this evening.
There is trouble in the world, disaffection all around, and when we find ourselves at odds, we're often quick to blame, so quick to blame. We are different, you and I.
We thank our ecumenical choir for doing such a nice job. As we head into our second reflection, it's my honor to welcome Rabbi Alex Shuval Weiner and the Rabbi Beth Tikva, as well as Abdul Amir from East Cobb Islamic Center.
We didn't practice this one. You take that side, I'll take this side. Or we can swap. No, please.
Assalamu alaikum, greetings of peace.
And shalom aleichem, greetings of peace.
My name is Abdul Karim Amer. I am with East Cobb Islamic Center. I'm also associated with Islamic Speakers Bureau of Atlanta. I'm glad to be here, honored to be here. And I'll tell you a little bit about me. I'm not a member of the clergy. So to be standing here in front of so many people with so much knowledge about religion and faith, I'm almost an illiterate. So forgive me for anything I say or do today that may be inappropriate off the bat. I'm setting the bar low for myself. So I just want to start by thanking Temple Kol Emeth for doing what they do. I live down the road on Sewell Mill Road. I come here every year to vote. They offer that service as well. And I really want to thank Hal specifically for his leadership in organizing this event. Also want to thank all the planning members. I've attended some meetings, but there's so much that goes on in planning this event. So many folks from so many faith groups put so much effort in making this happen. On behalf of East Cobb Islamic Center and ISB of Atlanta, I thank you all for all the effort you have put in. You know, as you all may know, thanking and expressing gratitude is important. From an Islamic standpoint, Muslims follow Quran as the holy book, and I want to say something from it with regards to this. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم لئن شكرتم لأزيدنكم. God says in a chapter called Ibrahim in verse 7, if you are grateful, I will certainly give you more, as in I'll give you more of my blessings. Who among us doesn't want more blessings? So it's important to be thankful. I thank God Almighty for giving us this opportunity to come together today to understand each other better. And I'd like to pass it on to you for your words.
Modani lefanecha. I am grateful to be in your presence, in the presence of all of you, and before the presence of God. Gratitude is clearly something that we share so much. This sense of grounding, this sense of heart-opening experiences in life. Gratitude is what allows us, literally, to breathe and to thrive in life. And so we share this particular value deeply.
Thank you. You know, the time I spent this evening here, it was so convincing to me about the commonalities already. Just a few minutes and few speeches I heard. Let me start with what I heard from Rabbi Chernovitz. He basically said, you know, if you have two Jews, there'll be three opinions. And I was telling myself, man, that's so true with Islam. If we have two Muslims, we'll have four opinions. I mean, seriously, basic commonalities, my dear fellow human beings, we are human beings. Look at each and every one of you sitting around. We are human bodies, so similar. We all have one heart, one brain, 2 feet. I mean, if you go see a doctor is not gonna know you're a Jew or a Muslim or what the color of your skin is. He's gonna look for your blood pressure ought to be in this range. Your blood test ought to be this and this in hemoglobin. We are made alike by God. We don't need to look any further. We are one species with so much in common.
So Abdul, I have to say, you and I had a wonderful Zoom conversation the other day. We discovered so many things that we had in common, that our faith traditions have in common. From fast days to circumcision, dietary laws, ritual wear, set times for prayer, and a belief in the teachings of the prophets. We even found similar words in how we speak in our language of prayer. We found phrases in Hebrew and Arabic that meant so much good. They were so common. And I so enjoyed our chat. But the thing in discovering these commonalities that really touched my heart is when you introduced me to your adorable little granddaughter.
Thank you.
The pride in your face when that sweet, shy little girl came up to you just broke my heart open. See, I too am a grandmother, and I love my grandbabies more than anything in the world. I would lay my life down for them. To me, that is our greatest commonality. And that's where we all find common ground, in the love that we have for our children and our grandchildren. In my tradition, there is a phrase, le dor va dor, growing, living, and thriving generation to generation. This, for us, is the ikar, the essence of what it means to live life. And so we too, grandparents, sitting and talking about the hopes and dreams that we have for these little precious souls, and our finding pathways to creating a world where they won't want for anything, where they will never know hatred or ugliness, where they will know a life of wholeness, of love, of mutual respect and understanding among and from all peoples.
That's so very true. I mean, if we look at religious practices and beliefs, there's so much in common there as well. For example, Muslims have 6 core beliefs. We believe in God, the concept of God, one God. We believe in angels. We believe in prophets that God sent who delivered Holy Scriptures. And Muslims also believe in the concept of life after death, concept of heaven and hell. So there are so many commonalities in the Abrahamic faiths about these beliefs. Many of the Holy Scriptures mentioned in Quran are also Abrahamic faith tradition related. Many of the prophets mentioned in Quran are also common in many religions. And then there are practices. Muslims pray 5 times a day. They give charity. They go for pilgrimage. So there are practices, there are 5 pillars, they call it, that you find very common in other religions as well.
Love your neighbor as yourself. I see lots of heads nodding because this is a teaching that crosses all of our faith traditions so deeply. This idea that we must pass this idea of what it means to love and to respect. And in that spirit, I'd like to share a personal story, if I may. Sure. My son, Ariel, his best friend through high school was named Ibrahim. Ari and Ibs, as the boys were called, met on the very first day of their freshman year of high school. They both played on the high school basketball team. They surfed together. They hung out at each other's homes, doing homework together. They both had multiple girlfriends over the years and often double dated. Ibs was a regular at our dinner table. You see, he came from a very religious home, and he only ate halal. But our home was kosher, and so it was a place that his observant parents felt very comfortable with. So he spent many a dinner at our table. Ariel developed quite a sweet tooth for Ib's mother's mamul cookies. She used to laugh at how his face would light up every time she would put out a plate. One day, Somebody came up to the two of them and said, "How is it possible that you can be friends? A Muslim and a Jew? One the son of a Syrian, the other the son of an Israeli." Their answer? "We have way more in common than what separates us." These two young men were both proud and deeply committed to their unique cultural and religious heritages. Who could have allowed their differences? They could have allowed their differences to keep them at arm's length, but instead they chose to focus on their commonalities. Living in LA, their love of sports, the beach, pizza, girls, and the centrality of their family and faith. And perhaps most importantly, the importance of friendship, something that they were committed to nurture. And I'm proud to say that 15 years later, their friendship is still growing very strong. Love truly is the antidote to what separates us, to what keeps us apart from hate.
That's so true. Let me say one short story and then I'll conclude. When I was growing up, I was born and raised in India. When I was growing up, some of my best friends were Hindus. And my best friend came to my home when we have Muslim festivals, ate our special foods, participated in it. So I was there for their festivals to participate and enjoy the food and everything else that goes along with festivities. So Hinduism, which I witnessed growing up, has a lot in common as well. They go for pilgrimage called Tirth Yatra. They do puja, which is prayer. So there are similar practices there. But one thing I did learn, there are vast differences in the concept of God between Islam and Hinduism. And I've learned to understand and respect the differences. That is part of building common ground, is to understand it's okay if there are differences in your belief system, as long as you try and learn, understand, and respect. And conclude with this. In terms of universal brotherhood and sisterhood, this is a verse from Quran, chapter 49, called Al-Hujurat, verse 13. Ya ayyuhan nas, inna khalaqnakum min dhakarin wa untha wa ja'alnakum shu'ban wa qaba'ila lita'arafu inna akramakum inda Allahi ataqakum inna Allaha alimun khabir. The translation of it is, "O humanity, indeed, we created you from a male and a female and made you into peoples and tribes so that you may get to know one another. Surely the most noble of you in the sight of God is the most righteous among you. God is truly all-knowing, all-aware." Last word is yours.
Final words. Above the ark in the sanctuary in my congregation, and you will often find it in synagogues, are the words, "Da lifnei mi ata omed," know before whom you stand. On the surface, it is to know that we are all standing before the Creator, before God. But the sod, the secret message, is that when we look into the eyes, into the faces of those that are staring back at us, we are truly looking into the divine face. It has been a pleasure getting to know you. I see the divine in you, and I pray that we will continue building a friendship together.
Thank you, same here. Appreciate it.
It is my great pleasure to present the youth message with Carly Freeman from TKE, or Temple Kol Emeth, Danielle Eushis from St. Catherine's, Devjot Kaur from Siva, and Sophia Rouse from St. Anne's. But it looks like we're one person short, so I'm sorry.
Finding common ground is building a connection with someone over something you didn't know you had in common.
Finding common ground is recognizing our shared attributes amongst our differences. It could be having brown hair, loving superheroes, or even having an oddly specific childhood memory.
Finding common ground is important because we need to be able to build connections and relationships with one another in order to grow in
Finding common ground is important because it connects people to learn and listen to one another, as well as to be compassionate and empathetic.
Finding common ground is important because without common ground, humans would lose their humanity. It's easier to hate someone when you don't agree on anything.
I connect with those who are different from me by working to try to see things from their perspective and understand why they do things differently.
I connect with those who are different from me by talking to others and viewing it from a different perspective. Listening to one's viewpoints helps me understand.
I connect with those who are different from me by coming to accept my own identity, which has led me to become comfortable in asking questions about other religions. It's really all about becoming confident in yourself so you can learn about others.
Sometimes finding common ground within my own faith is challenging. Sometimes we have different goals and priorities.
Sometimes the topic of common ground isn't discussed. Sometimes we interpret things differently.
Sometimes the polarization of the world creates rifts in our community. Sometimes we don't want to talk about it.
We can work through these challenges by talking about things together, and we usually find a reasonable answer to our questions.
We can experience other holidays and traditions that will help us work through our challenges. We can connect and learn from and about each other.
We can fight against the polarization and get to know others' stories to build a strong interfaith community. What keeps you from finding common ground?
Misinformation and lack of knowledge. What keeps you from finding common ground?
Making assumptions and stereotyping others. What keeps you from finding common ground?
Miscommunication.
We remind ourselves that there are multiple ways to climb the same mountain.
We accept that we are not all the same. We understand that people have different values. We believe that life would be boring without differences.
We don't label others because when we label others, we block our ability to hear them. We embrace the differences that make us unique. We look for small similarities that can change our view on someone.
Be curious.
Be curious.
Be curious. What is beneath the surface?
What are we assuming? What world are they inviting us into?
What is their story? When we don't know someone's story, we miss out on the chance to learn with them.
When we don't know someone's story, we will miss out on the opportunity to grow with them.
When we don't know someone's story, we assume way too much. In a movie I recently had the opportunity to watch, the protagonist decides she wants to avenge her people by killing the antagonist. The movie flashes the earlier scenes of them growing up to depict both of their backgrounds and struggles in life. Despite them going through different things and coming from different cultural backgrounds, they realized they wanted the same thing. They both wanted to protect their people and to come together. Finding common ground means understanding that although we are all different, we are all looking for the same thing: love, community, happiness, and compassion. In the words of Anne Frank, we all live with the objective of being happy. Our lives are all different and yet all the same.
So now from the farthest reaches of Metro East Cobb, i.e. Atlanta, I would like to introduce Reverend Bronson Elliott Woods from Ebenezer Baptist Church and Jason Colmer from Candler School of Theology.
Good evening. Finding common ground. We all meet at the intersection of what God gave us, breath. All of humanity, all living things have breath. Breath has no religious tradition, no worldly riches, no sex, no gender, no race. If we could just concentrate on our breathing, not our differences in opinions, positions, or politics, but yet on the very thing that gives us all life, breath. Something that's not created by man's hands, but yet a gift from God, the divine, the source. When we all recognize the common ground we share through the breath of God, we can all lift our voices, our minds, our bodies, and soul, and unashamedly shout, Black Lives Matter. When we all recognize the common ground that we share through the breath of God, we can all join together with the women across the nation, stand with them, as we all stand for women's choice. When we recognize the common ground we share through the breath of God, we will strategize as one unit to effectively address and end mass incarceration. When we recognize the common ground we share through the breath of God, we will work together against any laws in the land that oppress the people, suppress the voter, or discriminate against our LGBTQIA community. When we recognize the common ground that we share through the breath of God, we will find that no weapon formed against us will prosper. When we recognize the common ground we share together through the breath of God, we will make crooked roads straight and rough places smooth. And as I close, the late, great Dr. Howard Thurman, Christian mystic, believed that the search for common ground is a twofold journey of self-exploration and of building community, and that meaningful and creative shared experiences between people can be more compelling than all of the faiths, fears, concepts, and ideologies that separate them. And if these experiences can be multiplied and sustained over a sufficient duration time, then any barrier that separates them from one another can be undermined and eliminated. Jason.
At the Candler School of Theology at Emory University, we are encouraged to share space, knowledge, perspective, vulnerabilities, kindness, and grace with one another. We all come from different places, experiences, faith traditions, political ideologies, backgrounds, and social locations, and yet, in all this sharing, we come to trust one another, seek comfort from one another, empower one another, and love one another. And again, at the historic Ebenezer Baptist Church, the spiritual home of the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., I've had the amazing opportunity to meet wonderful people from not just across the Atlanta metro area, but the entire country and even the entire world. We share joys and laughter and praise. We also have shared tears, fears, and sorrow. Common ground is not always made of fields of marigolds and beds of roses, but of soggy and shaky stuff. And then I look out at all of you in this special place, and I share with you this great and awesome blessing it is to come together as strangers, discovering and celebrating all the wonderfully unique things that make us different and yet able to share. I thank you for this opportunity and encourage each of you, when you leave this sacred place, to find and share common ground. Thank you.
John Stringer now blesses us with "You Are Welcome Here," composed and performed by him.
That was a shorter introduction than I expected, so I'm gonna talk my way into I'll introduce this song as I tune. It is a song that was requested 3 days before I showed up to perform. And the music minister at Spiritual Living Center of Atlanta asked, do you have anything that would represent diversity? We are a very diverse community. Want something to speak to that. I think she sent it to me via email. And so I use meditation to go to the source and ask for guidance because I don't really know my repertoire that well. And I asked, what song can I play? And I heard, write one. It's like, oh boy. So 3 days before, I'm like, okay. The good news is I knew I didn't have to depend on my own limited conditioned thinking to write the song. I could go straight to the genius. And I received this song and played it for the first time 3 days later. It's a song about common ground, a song about welcoming each other.
There is a space in my heart where I find the truth. I find me in you, a truth beyond what you may see now. But when we are one, we bring more good about. No matter who or what you call yourself or where you come from, yeah. There is a place in this world with open arms right now. Welcome to love, welcome to peace, welcome to our community. And be who you are, and let your light shine. We're so much more when we unite. You are welcome here. You are welcome here. See with new eyes, allow and unfold, embrace and let go, trust the flow. There's a freedom in love when you follow your heart. Together we are stronger than we could ever be apart. No matter who or what you call yourself or where you come from, yeah. There is a place in this world with open arms right now. Welcome to love, welcome to peace, welcome to our community. And be who you are, and let your light shine. We're so much more when we unite. You are welcome here. You are welcome here. And breathe in and out. Slowly feel all that's around you, and all that you feel, and all that you know. Let it go. Welcome to love, welcome to peace, welcome to our community. And be who you are, and let your light shine. We're so much more when we unite. Yeah, when we unite. Oh, oh, oh. When we unite. Yeah, yeah. Oh, when we unite. Yeah, yeah.
need you to do me a favor. I'd like you to take in a deep breath. Let it out. I'd like you to close your eyes for just one moment. And imagine hovering above yourself, seeing this entire crowd. And sing this with me. You are welcome here. Love is welcome. Peace is welcome. I am welcome here. Great job. Thank you.
John, I couldn't have given more of an introduction than you did, my friend. And let's hold on to that gift for a moment. Take a look around this sacred place. Just look and see. No words need to be said. Take it in. And just close your eyes for a moment. One more time. Think about John's words. Because you are welcome here requires you not just saying it, but living it. And what would it be? What would it take for you in your life to live those words? Hold on to that just for a moment. And the only one holding you back from living those words is you. So with that, we bring up our fourth reflection. Reverend Richard Burdick from Unity North Atlanta Church, and Averill. And you are pride, one of your pride and joy. Clementine Loy, your daughter, from also Unity North Atlanta.
Thank you, Rabbi. You are welcome, not just here in a space, in a building, in a room. You are welcome in the heart of every Unity North member that is here today. We behold you as our brothers and our sisters. And I am beyond delighted to welcome this beautiful young lady, a member of the youth at Unity North, to join me on the Bema today and to open her heart, our heart, to every person gathered in the room and every person who is online. You ready? Yeah. All right. From the outside in, we appear worlds apart.
But from the inside out, we're the same.
From the inside out, not the head, but the heart, we are just two links in one chain.
I'm part black and part white.
And I'm English to the core.
But beyond what divides us,
that which matters much more
is the love that we seek.
The love that we need.
The love that is sacred.
The love that can be. I work in a church.
And my work is in school.
But both of our classrooms
house the golden rule.
A common humanity.
A common integrity.
A common authenticity.
A common destiny. A unity and diversity.
God's singularity.
Unashamed.
Unapologetic.
Necessary. I was born in the East.
And I in the West.
I live in a city.
And I find country the best.
Yet in the middle of it all.
We're not red, we're not blue.
But a symbol of purple
that transcends me and you.
I say yo dude, and you say y'all.
But unless we communicate, we're both bound to fall. Your lingo's not mine.
You talk very old.
I've been told. But unless we align,
the story's been told.
We won't make it till we
can find common ground
that exists not between us, but
within us it's found.
Let us both find the space
in our hearts and our minds
for a united friendship,
a united design, a united states,
a united humanity,
a united commitment,
a united goal,
a united spirit,
a united intent,
a united creation,
a united soul. From the outside in, I find God in a book.
And I find truth in a song.
But from the inside out, from our heart, not our head,
it's the same good we've sought all along.
There's a common desire, a promise we've made.
To find love in each corner,
in each place,
in each face,
in the spots no one looks because they're afraid.
In the shadows,
in the darkness,
in the places forgot,
in the deserts of life,
in the stress, in the knots.
God is not absent.
Love is not absent.
God is present.
Love is present.
Whether I find him or not.
Whether I find her or not.
Whether we find God in each other or not. I think it's better if we do.
On this we agree.
Beyond me and you,
a common us,
a common we.
I identify as she, sometimes them. It is true.
And I stick with the he, but I support you being you.
Me being me.
It must be hard to be judged.
It is, but less and less every day.
Neither one of us a label,
a title,
or name. Stay awake.
Stay alert.
Stay conscious.
Stay true.
Stay open.
Stay humble.
Stay vulnerable, too.
I am young.
I am old, though not as old as my years.
And I'm an old soul who lives without fear.
Our thoughts may be as different as night and as day.
May we listen with compassion and never stray.
From what we are learning about ourselves.
About each other.
About everyone.
About the world.
About God.
About life.
About peace.
About silence.
The lessons never stop. So I will continue to learn.
And I will listen to your voice until the world starts to turn.
Till the world starts to wake up.
A world rearranged.
Till the world starts to shake up.
Till the world starts to change.
And becomes a little bit closer.
A little bit lighter.
A little bit tighter.
A little bit brighter.
With a whole lot more love.
And a whole lot less war.
I will listen to your lessons. And will open new doors.
To common dreams.
To common purpose.
Common earth all around.
Common vision.
Common mission.
Common hopes.
Common ground.
That which divides us does not define us.
But that which unites us is that which excites us.
There is that which connects and that which represses.
There is that which divides and that which redresses.
It is ours to look deep, to hear the whispers within.
It is ours now to seek, transcend what has been. To listen more deeply.
To listen more intently.
Listen more reverently.
To listen more purposefully.
Listen more mindfully.
To listen more intentionally.
To listen more. Period. To that which is calling us home.
To that which is calling us out.
To that which is calling us in.
To that which is calling us to remember. To respect.
To uncover.
To reflect.
To discover.
I will not make exceptions to where I find the face of God.
I will not make exceptions to where I find the face of love.
I will not make exceptions to where I offer peace.
I will not make exceptions to where I receive peace.
No matter how hard it is to find.
No matter how hard it is to see.
No matter how dark the moment seems.
I'll be the light.
God's marquee.
Let not my ignorance react.
Nor my fears lead.
Let not my judgment control.
Or my need to compete.
Keep us blind.
Keep us dumb.
Keep us mute.
Keep us numb. I will be here for you. No matter how hard it may be.
I will be here for you, no matter how you frustrate me.
I love you. Not for what you think or what you do.
I love you, no matter what you've been through.
I love you not for what you feel or you own.
I love you
because I know you are my home.
I love you because to not love you will be the death of both of us.
The death of all of us. From the inside alone with the outside sat down.
We remember there's only one of us here.
The one that's eternal, the one that is now.
The one that transcends all the doubt and the fear.
There's a common ground beneath our feet and beliefs.
We're part of a whole, not just the parts that we see.
I will stand as your brother.
I'll be your sister too.
Let's join our hands and our hearts
and agree to pursue that which unites,
that which respects,
that which delights,
and that which
connects.
connects.
We are both made of air, born of water and bone.
We are both made of stardust, born of light and of stone. I need you to survive.
I need you to thrive.
I need you to be patient.
I need you to understand.
We both fail at times.
We both succeed too.
We both hurt and bleed.
We are not one, we're two. We both have a family that drives our brains nuts.
We ask the same questions, the whys, whens, and whats.
We both have a commitment to the future to come.
Though we both move our feet to a different drum.
We both can get angry, feel lost and unknown.
We both can get tired and feel oh so alone.
And we both are still growing into
what God
would have us be. As individuals.
As friends.
As representatives of those who gathered here tonight.
And of those on the other side of the earth.
No ocean can separate us.
No doctrine.
No politics.
No history.
No bricks.
No religion.
No blindness.
No ignorance.
No tricks.
We share one life. We share one earth. And our legacy is not our differences. Our legacy will be how we overcome.
And stand courageous.
Stand strong.
And stand true.
Stand for justice and civility.
Stand for peace.
Stand for truth.
You're my brother, you're my sister, so take me by the hand. As long as there is love, we will stand. There's no power can defeat us when we're walking hand in hand. As long as there is love, we will stand. As long as there is love, we will stand.
Thank you.
Clemmy. I was so excited I ripped that headset right off. I'm not used to all these wires. Oh, that was really lovely. I know I'm utterly biased. Remember that lens I talked about? But it was really great. And what a perfect opportunity to then transition to my spiritual soul sister, Priti Bhatt, if you'd like to come up now from the Art of Living Center.
Wow. Oh my gosh. There's nothing much to be said after all those inspiring reflections that have really shed light on everything that we have common, small and big, than not. The rituals we practice, the languages we speak, the underlying meaning of rituals, the underlying meaning of words, our thoughts, our actions. I mean, there is commonality in all of it. It's just how we see it, how we perceive it. And that shift is so powerful. Thank you to all our speakers. Thank you. So how about we now close our eyes in meditation and really get in touch with, I think John said that a little bit, get in touch with that inner space that's here that is connecting all of us, no matter what the color of our skin is, no matter what foods we like to eat or don't, no matter what religion and faith we practice. That's that space that allows me to feel the warmth, the belongingness to the person next to me. So let's close our eyes for a deep relaxation, to connect with a deep space inside of each one of us. Let's take a deep breath in. And as we breathe out, drop everything that binds us, that inhibits us, that does not allow us to feel that connection with the person next to us. Like one of our speakers said, that's just not worth having. That's just not worth carrying with us. So let us just drop it. Once again, a breath in. And exhale. And feel that weight just drop. Anything that divides us, anything that binds us, just not worth carrying. Gently bring our awareness to all the sounds in our environment, from the music to the presence of the people next to us, to the sound of our own breath. What choice do we have but to accept all these sounds, to accept our environment just as it is? Right this moment, it is what it is. That is harmony. Once again, let us take a breath in. And let it go and relax even more. Feeling that breath that connects me with you. Gently, let us bring our awareness to our body. This body is such a precious gift to us by nature, by God. Let us honor our own body. Gently moving our awareness from the feet up to the legs, the knees, thighs, hips. Pleasant or unpleasant sensations in the body, just be with them. Moving up to the abdomen and stomach. Chest. and the head. Just nourishing, nurturing this gift of a body. Let us take a deep breath in with a smile. And breathe out with a smile. And a sense of gratitude. This body allows me to experience this world and connect with all my fellow beings. It is a gift, it is a blessing. Let us become aware of our thoughts. There may be good thoughts, there may not be as pleasant thoughts. Doesn't matter, just accept your thoughts. Do not push them away, embrace them. However they are. That's how we can be in harmony with our own thoughts. Once again, let us take a breath in and breathe out, and one more time, let it go. Just drop everything that divides us, that doesn't allow us to just be. Let us become aware of our feelings, our emotions, pleasant or unpleasant. Just accept them. You are peace. You are joy. You are love. Right here within you. Nowhere else to look. This is the truth that unites us, that binds us, that keeps us together. This is worth treasuring. It's precious. thoughts. Become aware of the sensations in your body. Become aware of all the sounds in the environment and the presence of people in your environment. Let us take a breath in and breathe out. And as we open our eyes gently, with all the love, the gratitude that we feel in our heart right this minute, just turn to the person next to you and shower them with that love in whatever way you would like to. A hug, a smile, a greeting, however it is.
It's like, So now it's time for us to have another special guest. I'd like to introduce Jen Graham from Inclusive Civic Dinners, which to me very much embodies the idea of right speech and those uncomfortable conversations. Jen Graham is the founder and CEO at Inclusive, which is creating a more inclusive world. In October 2017, Jen founded Inclusive, formerly known as Civic Dinner, to help top brands, communities, and individuals make deeper connections and ignite change through guided conversations. Inclusive provides the tools needed to navigate challenging and important topics with confidence, helping create real connection and understanding.
Jen was named 2019 Small Business Person of the Year, Rising Star by the Atlanta Business Chronicle, received the Civic Impact Award in 2019 by Atlanta Emerging Markets, and is a Civic Innovation Fellow from the Center for Civic Innovation, as well as numerous other awards and honors. She's also served as advisor to the Community Farmers Markets, Hands on Atlanta, the Atlanta Bicycle Coalition, and the Urban Land Institute. Let's welcome warmly Jen Graham.
Wow, I hate reading my bio or hearing it out loud. Whew. Wow, it is an honor to be here with you tonight. And I am not a rabbi or a clergy, nor a teacher, but I have learned some hard lessons along the way when it comes to finding common ground, and I'd love to share them with you tonight. Also, I don't know about you, but how many of you have lost a relationship or a connection with someone, either a family member or friend, because you disagreed about something, either politically or religiously? Yeah. So after the 2016 election, I felt a rage in me that I had never experienced before. And I made a post on Facebook, and half of my family defriended me, including my dad, who I didn't know until he tried to refriend me a year later. So that was awkward. And I will be honest, that year I went into a deep depression with a lack of connection with my family, I didn't feel like I could talk to them about the issues that I was deeply concerned about the future generation, about my rights as a woman, and it's about how we care for one another around the world. And so it actually sent me to this place called Findhorn in England. And I had to give up the cell phone and put on an apron and work in the kitchen, and I was just struggling to find the answer. And I pulled an angel card there. And the angel card I pulled, that was what I was supposed to meditate on for that entire week, was the angel of understanding. And I cried and I bawled and I went to the library and I looked every single book up around understanding. And I was just enveloped in seeking out understanding. I wanted to understand why people thought the way they did. And I wanted to find a structure and a way to uncover that in a really respectful manner so that I could keep the relationships with my friends, my family, and my colleagues that we all thrive on. And so I came back and decided to bring people together from different political perspectives to the dinner table. And I started by bringing political optives, the people who write the scripts for politicians. And I said, hey, how do we find common ground? And we talked it out. And we said, how do we design a conversation that everybody can participate in and help find common ground? And together we did. And we called it Common Ground. And it takes the form of 3 big questions. And it guides us on a journey of the story of self, the story of us, and the story of now. And the story of self is about connecting to one another and why we care about the things we do. The story of us is about our shared humanity and also the shared struggles and the tension, a chance to put all cards on the table and look at them objectively. And the last is the story of now, the sense of urgency and the desire to really take action and ownership. So with that model, I started Civic dinners as a way to bring people together around really important issues, to find common ground and to create real policy change where we saw understanding. And I also, as a family, we live just a few blocks from Ebenezer Church. And you can't walk very far in Old Fourth Ward without running into a quote by Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And my favorite is the one where he says, I believe that men hate each other because they fear each other. They fear each other because they don't know each other. They don't know each other because they don't communicate with one another, and they don't communicate with one another because they are separate from one another. And so it's that separation and communication that are at the root of our pain and suffering. And so I believe that if we can bring people together and have meaningful conversation, we can start to create the unity and common ground that we see and seek for. Also, I believe there's a truth in that where you find disagreement is where you can also find common ground. It just takes a little courage, a little vulnerability, and a lot of curiosity. And so with that, I want to leave you with these 3 things to hopefully avoid the mistakes that I've made along the way, channel that anger into an invitation to dinner, to have a conversation, to seek understanding, and be vulnerable, to let go of your own perspective long enough to see the other side for its truth, its beauty, and value, and enter with willingness to learn, because that's where you grow. Be curious, to ask the hard questions, and really listen, even if the answer contradicts what you personally believe or your own worldview. And last and most importantly, love and respect one another. To love one another so much so that they feel that you're curious, that you care, and that their commitment to you means more, and that their relationship is never at stake, no matter what or how you differ on the things that matter. And so my hope is that Actually, I have a lot of hope here that all of you are here, especially just the incredible words from tonight. I have hope for my son and my daughter, for the next generation, because I believe we are courageous enough to have these important conversations. And my hope is that with these conversations, we can create a better world for future generations. And what we need to do is to replace ignorance and fear with understanding and hope. Thank you.
Now I'd like to introduce Dean Nielsen from the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints to introduce our Interfaith success story.
Simple Needs Georgia was founded in 2010 to address gaps in services that are available to those in need. Simple Needs currently serves Cobb County with the following programs. Simple Household Needs, which provides beds, furniture, household items, cleaning supplies for those that are moving out of homelessness. My Birthday Matters and the Spirit of Christmas, which provides children with birthday and Christmas gifts. Shoe Them Love, which provides gift cards to select social workers to enable them to purchase shoes for children in need. Uniforms for Excellence provides school uniforms. Comfort Kits are duffel bags that include hygiene and other necessary items for those in homeless shelters. And Simply Sheltered, which provides tents, sleeping bags, and other camping supplies that help the homeless directly. We have with us tonight the president and founder of Simple Needs Georgia, Brenda Rhodes. Over the past 27 years, Brenda has volunteered with a host of nonprofit organizations in Cobb County and Metro Atlanta, including Must Ministries, Good Muse Animal Foundation, Special Olympics, the Atlanta Community Food Bank, Hands on Atlanta, Live Safe, Resource, and the Center for Family Resources. In recognition of countless hours volunteered, Brenda received the National Points of Light Award in 2007 and 2010. She was the featured hands-on network volunteer on MSNBC's Brewing Together program in 2009. The prior year, Brenda received both the Lifetime President's Volunteer Service Award and the Gold President's Volunteer Service Award. Brenda was Hands on Atlanta's premier volunteer in 2004 and received her university's Alumni Service Award in 1997. Brenda is a member of the Golden K Kiwanis Club. She is a graduate of the 2016 class of the Cobb County's Chamber of Commerce Leadership Cobb program and the winner of the 2016 W. Wyman Pilcher Jr. Memorial Grant for Community Service from the Leadership Cobb Alumni Association. In 2017, Brenda won the Cobb Collaborative's Jack Vaughn Jr. Human Service Award in the volunteer category and was featured on the cover of the East Cobber magazine. Brenda was recognized in 2018 by the East Cobb Area Council of the Cobb Chamber of Commerce as Citizen of the Year. And in 2020, the American Business Women's Association presented Brenda with their 2020 Community Service Award. Now, if I don't stop talking and sit down, there will be another 2 or 3 organizations that will have to be added to this list, given the pace that Brenda works at. But finally, Brenda sings in the choir at the First United Methodist Church in Marietta. She's a member of the Georgia Symphony Orchestra Chorus, and she sings in the Strand Old Opry. Please welcome Brenda Rhodes.
I'm tired. Anybody else? I forgot about half of those things. Anyway, thank you very much. That was very kind of you. without a doubt an honor to be here, as many people have said. I've not experienced one of these before, and it's just amazing. So as far as just the themes that we've heard tonight, some of the things that Simple Needs Georgia embodies is non-judgment, non-discrimination, caring for others. I'm sure that all of the entities represented tonight have all, hold all of those values, and caring for the community is really what I wanted to talk about. Is it doesn't matter who you help. You can help someone personally, you can help an agency, it doesn't matter. Just think about other people and understand that some people who are in need are your neighbors, some people are your friends, and you might not even know it. So just think about who. I delivered a coat today to a house that looked just like my house. But I found out that the family had the husband had lost his job and the wife is on disability. And they were living paycheck to paycheck lately, and they just needed a coat. And when I said, "Do you need anything else?" they said, "No, we just need a coat." I mean, it was this cute little coat for a 2-year-old. And I said, "Please let me know if you need anything else." So you don't know what's going on, right? And a lot of people don't talk about it. So helping an agency is one way to help people and if you don't know someone who needs help. So just think about that. And I know we actually do collaborate with some of the entities represented tonight, and we're very thankful for their support. And there's many. I'm not just talking about the organization that I'm representing, but just there's many in your community, because I know not all of you are are in Cobb County. There's many all over the Atlanta metro area. So just think about what you like. What's your passion? Do you care about people, animals, domestic violence? There's people out there everywhere. And as you know, COVID really represented a huge issue for many people. Financially, think about the domestic violence. The people who are experiencing domestic violence, they had nowhere to go. They had to stay in their house with the person who was potentially abusing them. There's just so many people out there in need. So I just wanted to mention that, and if you'd like to help us out, that's great. If you want to help out someone else, that's fine too. But just be aware of your surroundings. Don't judge people. Sometimes people who come to pick up from us, they have nice cars. But you know what? They probably got that car a few years ago, and then they hit hard times. You just don't know. So just think about that, and go where God leads you, and your power that be leads you to help others in your community. So thank you for being here tonight. Everyone is fabulous. This was a great, and thanks to everyone for organizing this as well.
The 18th year of our Ecumenical Service. And the Give a Gobble program initially grew out of a grassroots effort to help impoverished families in the Cabbagetown neighborhood and support the Oakland Food Bank in downtown Atlanta. It's been well over a decade since Give a Gobble was born, and today the effort has grown exponentially to help those locally and around greater Atlanta. Over the years, with your help, Give a Gobble has created a broad safety net feeding people in need at Thanksgiving by providing food support to the Center for Family Resources, Families First, Family Promise of Cobb, Food to Kids, the Genesis Shelter, the Helping Hand Foundation, Jewish Family and Career Services, Must Ministries, North Fulton Charities, United Military Care. This year, Simple Needs Georgia, our featured success story, is among those receiving Give a Gobble assistance. Simply put, Give a Gobble success depends directly on your generous donations. Please know that 100% of your donation this evening goes towards the purchase of turkeys, food staples, and Thanksgiving dinners. As the baskets are passed through the sanctuary this evening, any contributed amount is appreciated. Cash or checks made out to Give a Gobble are welcomed. Open your hearts. Place a turkey on the table of a family in need, and give a gobble. As we open our hearts, we listen to Grateful Dance, composed and performed by Bruce King, Emerson Unitarian Universalist Church. There's so much to say about our world. Let's take a moment just to reflect. Think about what word, what phrase, something that connected you this evening. And as much as we write, as Averill and I have written plenty, I'm reminded of the story of Abraham. And in the book of Genesis, Abraham is called to go to the land that God will show him. And the power of that moment, Abraham is 75 years old. And there's lots of commentaries about why Abraham was chosen. And because we really don't know. We know about his lineage for those who know the Bible there. But there's a beautiful midrash, a rabbinic interpretation. Averill, it's not on this sheet, I'm telling you that.
I figured that.
And the text says that Abraham's father in that time period owned an idol shop. And he went off to an idol convention with others who sold. It was a big thing at the time. And told his son to watch the store. And a woman comes in and offers flour, a big bag of flour to the idols. And Abraham takes it and smashes it all over. There's dust flying everywhere. Not your dust things, but. And chases the woman out of the store. And then he takes a big stick and he smashes all the idols. And he takes that stick and puts it in the hand of the biggest one. His father comes home. And he said, "What happened? You were supposed to watch the store." And Abraham goes, that one did it. And he says, what do you mean? That can't talk or move or do anything. He says, Dad, why do you worship it then? 3,000 years of Jewish tradition teach, as much as things change, they stay the same. And Abraham's warning, then as now, is so crystal clear. We live in a world that still worships idols, that worships people, that worships individuals and things, and doesn't value people the way we need to. And if we didn't hear from so many powerful voices tonight, that our faith has to stand for something. No matter what faith we have, if our faith doesn't look out for humanity, then it's not faith. Then it's politics or agendas. Abraham smashed the idol. Then it's our job to smash the idols today. Because if we don't, then it's really not faith. And our faith has become routine. And it really doesn't mean much. Because no matter what faith tradition we come from, it's our job to do something with it. And that's how our faith has meaning. That's what God wants from every one of us at this moment. And Averill, there's a story of a rabbi and a soap maker. And they're walking down the street. And the soap maker says to the rabbi, hey, Rabbi, your Judaism, it's the oldest monotheistic faith in our world. And it teaches goodness and love and peace and making a difference in the world. And this world is chaotic. Clearly, your Judaism doesn't work. And just then, a little boy, and he's filthy, breaks up the two of them, runs in the middle of them, and runs down the road. The rabbi looks at the soap maker. He says, my friend, the soap maker, you tell me that your soap is supposed to clean people. Did you see that little boy? He was filthy. He goes, but Rabbi, you got to use it in order for it to work. And the rabbi, aha. Just like faith. Give me Judaism, Christianity, Islam, Hinduism, Baha'i, Sikhs. We have all of us here tonight. If we don't use it, what good is it really? For the sake of humanity, it's now time to do the work. And when somebody gets in the way, find a way around. And help to lift them up too and teach them what you've learned tonight. That will make the difference. And it may just be, the difference may be with you. Because Abraham's journey was internal. We all can do that now. What do you think, Averill?
You have my notes. Well, the fifth unity principle is through thoughts, words, and actions, we live the truth we know. So simply put, that is boots on the ground. If it's just what we do here, as Richard always says, it was a lovely evening of entertainment.
That's right. So, if tonight was meaningful and your faith matters, then do something. Make a difference. So with that, we're going to offer a closing benediction. The choir will close us out with Together We Are, and we'll give a final goodbye. But if you would, if you would rise, please, as one community. And the words of the priests of the Hebrew Bible and of the words of Leonard Nimoy that made it all famous. If you want to, feel free to hold up your hands like the priests did.
Well, he was talking about the dust, and I kept thinking he said cling, and I was like, oh, the Klingons.
The Klingons.
You know? See?
Anybody who wants to cling on at the end and clean up, feel free to join us. Feel free to raise your hands too, because the priestly blessing, the Birkat Kohanim from the Torah, teaches that it's not us, but we channel God's blessing for others. And that's what gratitude is. It's sharing it with others. So you can do this. Join me. As we channel God's blessing for us all. Yevarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. May God bless you and keep you. Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'choneka. May God shine upon you and be gracious and kind to you. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. May God's face always shine upon you and grant you the most precious gift, the gift of shalom, the gift of peace, of shlemut, of wholeness, and of completeness, and of humanity. And let us say, Amen. Amen. Together we are.
participation here. And it's just two words and one note. And it goes like this. We are. Good. Let's practice that one more time. Ready, go, and we are. And it's a good time to put your hands together too, right? Whenever I point at you, you'll sing that. Let's try it one last time. And we are.
end today, we want to thank our choir and conductor and musicians. We want to thank all of our speakers, our clergy who are here today from so many different congregations. And we want to thank our steering committee who did an amazing job. Hal, well done with you and your committee. And as we end, of course, we have to break some bread together. There'll be a reception in the social hall back here. Please share your thoughts on the wall of words by the doors in the reception area. And please, this can be a show or it can be a call to action. Talk to your congregations, talk to your clergy, get them involved. Let this be a call to action. Let us join in making a difference in this world. I want to thank everyone for being here at our 18th annual Ecumenical Service. Clergy are not allowed to go anywhere yet. We'll greet you shortly. And if there's clergy sitting out here as well, participants who are participating this evening, please join us here for a joint picture. And please, together we are. Let's make a difference. Thank you, everyone, for being here this evening.
Good night, everyone. Thank you.